Before I begin, I want to tell you that I was able to nominate 44 things in March, and I'm going to go through them all, and where necessary, I'm going to show you a couple screenshots that I took, basically from pogomap.info, which is what I use for the S squares, so the S14 and the S17 squares. But a little bit about myself. I have been nominating and reviewing since 2019. I have reviewed 9,285 nominations in Wayfair. I have redeemed 86 upgrades with that. I also have nominated 366 things to go into Niantic games. These aren't just in my area, they're in areas that I've been to. Out of those, I've had 269 accepted, 25 are still in voting, 15 haven't even entered voting yet, 11 have been deemed duplicates, so rejected, 46 have been denied. So that means out of the ones that have not finished voting yet, I have an 83% acceptance rate on my nominations. All right, with that, I'm going to go into my contributions page. We're going to start here with the last one and go towards the first one, because some people have already seen my earlier videos. So they can watch this until I get to the point where I cover what was already in my first two videos. This is a mural. It was a pretty big mural. I wasn't quite sure where to take the picture. This wasn't actually the nicest section of the mural. You can see here the whole mural. I was afraid this sign would be a little distracting. This was really the best thing. So I decided to do this instead. This is not entered voting yet. This one, it's off of Tatum, I don't know if it's Tatum Boulevard, but Tatum. There's this whole area called Reach 11. It has several different parks associated with it. This park is specifically meant for people with horses. They can bring their trailers, they can tie their horses up. There's ties, like if they want to stop at the picnic area here. So this went into almost instant voting and was approved. This one is at the same park. It is a map showing where all the trails are. This one also went into voting fairly quickly and was accepted. This one right here is at a park here. It's well known in the community, but not a very good park to play Pokemon Go at. And I noted that there was just a Ramada here that wasn't in the game. I don't know why. And I nominated it and it got accepted. Also at this same park, so this is north, the one that I just showed you was down here. This one is near a parking area. There were a bunch of picnic tables here with grills. There's another picnic table here. There's a grill. I decided to try and nominate this. In the past, this would have a really hard time getting through. I pitched that you could host a gathering there. I also said it was great for hosting a large gathering, because that is one of the questions that reviewers have to answer. Is it a great place to gather? And if so, how many people can it accommodate? So I put that in my description. It went into almost instant voting and was approved. This one right here, I'm actually going to make a separate video based on this one and a few others. This was a mural. It's on a house wall, so it's the street-facing house wall. It is nowhere near the driveway. You can see it here. It's on the corner, and it was rejected. It was rejected not by the community, it was rejected by Niantic. So I don't know if it was their new automatic voting, their AI voting, or whether Niantic employees actually did review it. I don't know, but not accepted. This one right here was on the side of a business. It's actually a part of a larger mural. And I took the overview shot here showing this stuff in the front because I wanted people to definitely know it was a business because it looked very house-like. But this one, I just said worth exploring, which is what I typically do for my art nominations. It was easily accepted. This one is just the start. So I've discovered 2 streets in Phoenix that have place markers associated with them. I'll call them place markers, artistic place markers along the street. And this Central Avenue is one of them. I don't know how far this stretches, but I nominated this one. It is a lamppost. It has Native American art in the lamppost. It is in the queue. If you haven't watched my video about the artistic tiles I nominated along the lake, I did like 40 nominations. This is going to be the same type of project, I think. I don't have access to the Ingress app like I did before, so it's going to be a little tougher finding the empty cells. But there are a lot of these that I can nominate. I just have to figure out what the art actually represents to get them through easier. But that has not gone into voting yet. This one, tennis at townhomes on the park. This is nearby an old mall that they're renovating. It had a fountain. There was a fountain over here at the entrance that was in the game, but I happened to notice from imagery, and that's one of the questions people have asked me, how do you find your nominations? Well, a lot of times when I'm going to go to an area and I know I'm going to have some extra time, I'll go to imagery and I'll look and see what's there, and then I'll go there and see if it's in the game. And that's what I did with this one. I saw there was a tennis court, and so I nominated it. It was a little hard to do because, see if you can see here, it had a fence around it. So I actually put my camera up against the hole in the fence so that the fence was not in the nomination, because nominations tend to have a harder time getting through if there is a fence in them. This one, again, same thing. I had a little bit of extra free time. Actually had about an hour free before I had to go to an appointment. I was in this area and I decided to check out this park. So the next few are at the same park. This is softball field number 3. And the reason I took the picture here was there was Little League games going on. So I decided to take the chance. And this one says it's in voting. This one is the exact same thing. I zoomed in on the number because there were Little League games there, and it was accepted pretty quickly. So this one will probably get through. And I'll show you here, there are actually 4 softball fields. This is in the middle. So there was like 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, but I only had time for 2. So somebody can go back and nominate the other 2, but I did these 2 because they were easy to get into the cells based on the pogomap.info cell locations that I was using. This is in that same park here. Over here, it's opposite the pickleball courts. So this one is in voting. It's a regulation sign. I have had park regulation signs denied. I'll just throw that out. I think it's one of those things that depends on what reviewers you get. But I like to put, because I had them denied, I like to tell them it gives you a way to better explore now that exploration is a big deal in the game, according to Niantic. So I threw that in the nomination. This one right here, I had to make a change. So there was this pickleball court here that had a Pokestop, but it was actually a very generic name. It was like Thompson Peak Park, and it didn't have a picture associated with it. So I have a feeling that the pickleball courts are new, and there used to be a park sign at this location. So I went ahead and I did a picture change and a text change for this that was at the pickleball court, and they were both approved. So that is now officially the pickleball court. That means that I was able to nominate this, which was behind it and in another cell, or at least I hope it was another cell. I haven't gone back to verify that I got it right, but it's a map of all of the fields, and that was easily accepted. This right here is another park. This is another park associated with that Reach 11 area. I said that it's in several areas. It is in voting, but I'm going to attach a couple screenshots to my video when I'm talking about this because I was here for at least an hour, maybe an hour and a half. This was towards the end. You can see the sun is setting. But this is a map that was off the parking lots here. You can see that, there's no imagery here, but you can see there's a bunch of different fields here. And I actually nominated all of them with the help of pogomap.info. And I will show you those screenshots. So this was the last field that I did. Every time it's getting dark, it concerns me that something's not going to get through because of bad picture. But luckily, this one was reviewed, I think, by their AI because it was approved within a day or two. This is field number 10. So that is right here adjacent to the parking lot. Soccer field number 7. This is the same park. And you can't see imagery, but you'll see it in the screenshot that I attach. And this one was also accepted. Here is soccer field number 9. I'm just heading in that direction. And I'll take this time to put in that screenshot, or at least of this area. And you will see I went ahead and pre-planned where I was going to put all of my points. And keep in mind that pogomap.info, their S17 and S14 cells are approximates only. If you're using Ingress, that's definitely, they have like an Ingress app that you can use that overlays the cells. That's a lot more accurate. I never downloaded the Ingress app. I'm not going to do it. And so I just use this free thing, which is pogomap.info. And in cases like this, I'll take a screenshot on my phone and use my markup tools to just draw on it and decide where I'm going to put my points. So that one has not entered voting yet. This one, same park. I'm going to the left there as I go. This is field number 6. It is also not entered voting. This one, field number 8, this was at the end. This one was a little tricky for me. You'll see it in the screenshot. There was a, down here somewhere, there was already something in the game, and I was trying to avoid it. So I'll be able to see when I go back after all of these things go through if I was successful in avoiding that other cell. Here is soccer field number 5. And this is actually, it's like, so the 10, 9, 8 is here, 7, 6, 5 is here, 4, 3, 2 is here. So this is the last one in this row. This one has not entered voting. Here is a map. Here, I'll zoom in so you can see what I nominated. I nominated all of these plus a few signs. The only things that were in the game, there was a sign at the entrance that was in the game. There was a cover here, like a sail cover. It was quite extensive. That was in the game. There was a playground in the game down here, and there was a sign over here somewhere. The sign didn't actually exist anymore. So I went ahead, nominated all of these fields separately. I nominated a sign that was there. I nominated a sign that was here. And I can't remember if I nominated anything else. That may be it. Oh, and then this one is the one that, so the one that didn't exist anymore was like up here somewhere. And so I added this one as well. This one has not entered voting. Field number 4, now we're on the next row here of fields. And I'm going backwards, so I did these towards the beginning. That one is in voting. Soccer field number 3, so that's next to 4. That has not entered voting yet. Soccer field number 2, so that's the last one on the left. That is in voting. Soccer field number 1, I did this first, luckily. This is like a private field. It was actually behind locked gates, and there were some people trying to get in it. And I was able to find a gate that was not locked. It was really good thing that I did this first, because by the time I got down here, there were a bunch of people coming here to play. And by the time I hit field number 2, this was full of players. So I'm really glad that I hit that first, but it is not entered voting yet. I put the point up here because if I put it down here, I would have interfered with these. All right, next. This one, as I was doing it, I was saying to myself it's iffy, and the main reason is because the number is on the sign. Some reviewers may think that it's advertising and not approve it, and I can tell you it's been in voting for a while. So up here, further north here, it's a very big park called Encanto Park. And there is a Pokestop down here somewhere, or maybe it's here. I think the Rose Garden may be in. But I actually saw that there was a mural here, and I decided to try the Valley Garden Center. And so I put it towards the street because this one right here, this mural, was in this cell. So the cell ended somewhere around here. And so I nominated the Valley Garden Center sign instead of the actual business, which is here on 15th Avenue. So this right here, I'll show you a picture of it. This is an alleyway. Here is the garden center. Here is the alleyway. This is a house, by the way, so it's nowhere near the driveway, and it was not accepted by Niantic. This never made it into voting by the general public. It was not accepted. All right, this is going to be in my other video that I talked about too. I'm going to do a video about things by single residential homes based on what I have experienced here. I'm not going to cover it here. This deserves a whole nother video because it's been a very trying experience. But so this is on a major street. It doesn't look very big here, but it is major. It is 5 lanes, 5 lanes. And so the houses are behind this wall. Here's the sidewalk. I was whistled at while I was nominating this. I don't appreciate that, by the way. And it was not accepted, not by the community, but by Niantic. They rejected it. Here, this one, I was a little cautious because of the window here. I ended up getting a little bit too much of this in the picture just because I was kind of afraid to stand where I could, because I was lifting my camera up because it was behind a temporary fence and I didn't want to get my camera in the picture. So for that, I ended up getting part of the parking lot in the picture. I don't know if that's why it wasn't accepted. It's on 3rd Street, which is a fairly major street, not as big as 7th Avenue, but it's not a home. But the issue here, I think, was it's behind this fence. They're renovating the property. And so I don't know if that's the reason or not. It was Niantic voting. They didn't tell me what the reasoning was. This here is comparable to the Stand with Ukraine mural, which is why this is so perplexing. This wall actually was a long mural. I mean, it covered this entire homeowner's wall. It was a fairly big property. It had several different types of murals. I opted for this one because it was near the alley and it was nowhere near the driveway. So you can see the alley here. Here's the sidewalk. And it was almost instantly accepted by Niantic. This never made it into community voting. Niantic approved it, and it actually created a gem. It's not here, so it's actually Osborne, and over here is 7th Street. And there's a Starbucks on the corner. And there are now 3 gyms in the Starbucks parking lot. And I think this created that new gym. So I'm going to be really happy to see all the players very excited about that corner now. Those gyms tend to sit stagnant because everybody got gold on them and nobody cares anymore. And now players are starting to come back. So that's good. This one, it's in a residential area, but it is a business here. So these are actually houses, but these are all businesses. And here you can see the mural. It's a pretty nice mural. I was disappointed I didn't see an artist to credit it to, but this has not entered voting yet. All right, now we're into the ones that I already made videos on. So if you watch the other two videos, you can check out at this point. But for those of you who have not watched my other two videos, I'm going to continue. This one was in a mini golf place. This is a new shopping center. It is not entering voting. So this is a month later. When things don't enter voting right away, that usually, to me anyway, indicates there's probably something else in the area going through voting that is preventing it from entering voting. But I don't really know. I'll have to see how long this takes, but it's at this Fat Cats. Maybe somebody already nominated it. That's how I've gotten some of my duplicates. I nominate something, it sits there for a while, and then by the time it enters voting, it's considered a duplicate. This one is in voting. This was at a pizza place, and I did a video on this one that I can't show you. I'm just using this to show you, so I don't have the aerial imagery. But basically, there's not much in imagery. It's a couple of buildings and dirt. And so that one did not go into Niantic voting. It looks like this one's actually being reviewed by the community. This one right here was at this Barrio Queen here. It was not in imagery. I was very concerned about it, especially since my overview shot wasn't the best. I said in my video, I should have gotten more of the street, but there were actually people sitting in here and one was facing me. And when I tried to take the picture over here, he was watching me and it was kind of making me feel uncomfortable. And so as a result, I didn't get a good picture showing where the street was, considering there was no imagery. Luckily, Niantic, their AI, I think, reviewed it, and it went through pretty quickly. This one right here, I happened to be in Florence, Arizona, just for like 30 minutes. Literally, I just figured I'm going to drive through town and see what's here. And I found this mural. I kind of struggled because it was a really good mural. I wanted to give it the best circle available for Pokemon Go. I don't know what it looks like in Ingress. I ended up going with just this because it was a better visual for the Pokestop. But there is the entire mural, and it got accepted. I think it was Niantic voting because it went through fairly fast. This one, it's actually a much better mural towards the street view or the front street. So I wanted to nominate that. However, there was already something in game. There was a cell about right here, and there was already something in game over here. This Fine Sausage Shriners is a Pokestop, and so I didn't want it to be in the same cell. So I nominated the back of the mural instead, which I have to say is pretty darn boring. After I left, I happened to notice there was actually a continuation of the mural back here. I probably could have done that, but I think it was the same general thing. It was just mountains painted on the side of the building. That one has not gone into voting. This one I screwed up. I posted this in my community tab. This was a dog park. I planned it out so that the right about here somewhere is bocce courts and the dog park. I planned it out in advance, but it was getting dark pretty quickly, and so I was rushing and I messed it up. I messed up the bocce courts actually and put them in the same cell as the dog park. So I will attach the screenshot right here so you can see. It says that the dog park is in Niantic Games, but it didn't unfortunately make it to Pokemon Go. Here are the bocce courts. I wanted to put the point right where I was standing, but that would have been up here, which was a different cell from the dog park over here. You can see that I kind of put it in the middle of the bocce courts, which was bad. So the bocce courts is in-game, but not the dog park. This one, I actually made the showcase. I will put that in right here so you can look at it, but my nomination was featured there for a week, which was pretty fabulous. I like that. I'd never seen any of my nominations in the showcase, and this was in that same complex. This right here, it's a pretty big complex. I actually found some, like a Ramada over here. I think it was in here somewhere, but I really didn't want to actually walk onto their property to nominate it, so I didn't nominate it. But this was a statue in like a tiny little park area that they had, and that was almost instantly accepted by Niantic. This one, also in a previous video, this is not in-game. I've driven by it for years now, thinking, like, how is this not in-game? I finally stopped. It's kind of in a tough area. They're over here. There's a couple things in the game. This Path for Water public art is in the game. And since I was using the pogomap.info, I wasn't 100% sure that this was in another cell, but I decided I was just going to go for it anyway, but it is in voting. This is a ballet theater, and theaters are great places. I've gotten several of them in game. This is one of the things that I feel like people are missing. Theaters. I've gotten two or three, I think. 3 accepted. They seem to go through pretty easily. So if in your town you have a theater, make sure you nominate it. But in there, I also stated it's a great place to explore and socialize or exercise if you're a dancer. So I wanted to make sure I got all of that in there for anybody that's reviewing. This is in community voting. You can also see there this metal art, but that's very temporary looking. So I decided to nominate the whole building, where you can see this ballet theater sign, and that is still ongoing. This one right here, I don't know if it's made any changes to the area. I have not been in this area with my game open, so I haven't gone back to check, but I actually upgraded it because it wasn't going into voting, and that concerned me that maybe somebody else had nominated it, and so I upgraded it and it went through right away. This one right here, in my video, I said it was kind of run down. Probably nobody plays in it. I'm hoping that the HOA, this is probably an HOA, I'm guessing. I'm hoping they fix it up at some point. So this one was just south of the canal here, and it's right here. So it wasn't a gated community, and it is in voting. This one, I'm a little shocked it hasn't gone through faster. I'm not quite sure why. It started out in Niantic voting, and then it left Niantic voting, and they put it in regular community voting. So that means to me that their AI found something of concern in it and decided to send it to the community. And I'm really not sure why. But here is the mural here, and I say art in public places qualifies. You know, it could be something as simple as they didn't think that there was pedestrian access and they wanted the community to vote on it. I don't know, but it's just really odd to me that it's taking this long. That is it. That takes me back to my February nominations. So this should be 44. So this is a very long video, and I'm going to make another video that talks about Stand with Ukraine mural, and the one up here, let's see, where did it go? This one. And then I'm going to throw in, that is going to be, at least for the time being, my final video. This channel isn't really going the way I had hoped it would go. I make videos and I typically get about 30 views unless it's some controversial topic, and then I get a lot of views and I get either really horrible comments or really great comments, and it's just very rare. And my other channel is really doing well right now. And I think I could be at the point where I may be making some money by the end of the year. So I'm going to concentrate on that instead. So my video that I'm going to make about single family residences is going to be my final video unless something really weird happens and suddenly my channel just completely takes off and I get a whole lot of watch hours. I think I saw in 365 days, I had like 200 watch hours. That is dismal in YouTube. And that is just not good enough for me. I enjoy helping people, but I'm not quite sure how much the community is benefiting from this because YouTube isn't pushing my videos. So thank you for watching this one, and I hope you look forward to the last video on single family residences.